The quality of service provided by GPs in England and Wales has deteriorated over the last year, according to a new survey by the British Medical Association. It's warning that the heavy workload faced by GPs could be putting patients at risk. The BMA says GPs are seeing more and more patients, many with complex health issues, which means doctors can't give the level of care patients need. Here's our health correspondent, Adam Brimelow.
10 minutes a time, Dr. Katie Bramall-Stainer does all she can to make every appointment count, establishing the patient history, talking through symptoms, weighing up a diagnosis and treatment, and then there's all the paperwork. All too often, she says, the consultations feel rushed.
I did have a little bit of a sore throat at the weekend.
And as the population grows and neighbouring practices close, so the demands on her time increase.
Workload has become unsustainable and untenable and sometimes dangerous in general practice. GP surgeries can't go on a black alert like hospitals can. We can't close our doors to patients. I think the government is raising patient expectations to such a level that is undeliverable and unsustainable and unsafe.
About 1 in 3 practices in England opted to respond to the British Medical Association's online survey, a total of nearly 2,900. Of these, more than half said their workload was unmanageable a lot of the time. 13% said this was the case all the time. The findings were similar in Wales. Doctors say they're being asked to do the impossible to help growing numbers of patients, often with increasingly complex conditions which demand more time which they say they simply do not have.
It is concerning that GPs are rushing through consultations. They're not having the time to fully listen to their patients. The patients are not given the time to fully explain themselves and their symptoms and their concerns.
The Department of Health in England says it recognises GPs are under pressure and is putting in record levels of funding to support general practice. It's committed to 5,000 more GPs, though the BMA says twice that number are needed. Ministers in England are expected to announce additional measures soon to cut bureaucracy and so help ease pressures on GPs. Adam Brimelow, BBC News.
Our health editor Hugh Pym is with me now. Well, GPs are clearly very unhappy with all of this. What can the government do?
Well, Sophie, this morning the government's been talking up this package of measures which it says will be unveiled very soon to help GPs in England. That will involve funding of about 5% a year extra over the course of this Parliament for general practices. GPs have always felt that the amount of money they get from the central NHS budget has been falling as a percentage of that budget, and they're right on the front line and they want more money. As we heard there in Adam's piece, they're committed to 5,000 more GPs by 2020. So ministers are saying this series of measures will really show their commitment to general practice. The problem is, what is the detail in it, and will it really address some of the concerns we've been hearing? And actually at the weekend there was a conference of some GPs which seemed to be so exasperated, some of the members there, that some of them were talking of mass resignations, in other words just walking away. Now it didn't come to that, and the general opinion was let's wait and see what the government come up with, but I think it'll be looked at very closely by GPs who feel that they're running on empty at the moment. The workload is rising, patient demand is rising, and they're not getting enough help. So what the government comes up with will be extremely important for general practice.
Hugh, thank you. In China,